Good evening. My name is Lorne Siegel. Arran Stevens is the president and co-founder with his wife Ratna of Nature's Path Foods, North America's largest organic breakfast food company. It was started as an organic food store on 4th Avenue in 1967. I suspect many people here had visited the store at one point in their lives. I still remember the peas and paneer and chapatis with veggie butter that Arran and his wife served in the back of the store back then. And outside of making this world a better place through healthy food, Arran Stevens was instrumental in establishing the SOS Ecology Center in Richmond, and is the author of books Journey to the Luminous, The Moth and Flame, and Compassionate Diet, which will be coming out soon. On a personal note, Arran and Nature's Path have recently become major sponsors of Free the Children's annual Vancouver Wee Day, which I have the privilege of chairing. It'll take place this year on October the 15th and will be a gathering of 20,000 of our youth between the ages of 12 and 17 to celebrate the power of young people to change the world. And events like that just don't happen without the help of people like Arran, his family, and companies like Nature's Path. So it gives me very great pleasure to present to you a great innovator, a humanitarian, and philanthropist, Arran Stevens.
Good evening. My long and winding journey from farm to bowl in 7 minutes. My mom was unloading 100-pound sacks of potatoes from the back of the farm pickup truck the day that she went into labor, and I was born after probably a humongous struggle. My father and mother were lovers of nature, and I can remember some of the early childhood days on the farm where we would go down to the beach in our pickup truck and pick up kelp from the beach and then spread it between the rows of crops in the fall. When planting corn, my father used to tell me, he says, well, 3 kernels in the hole, we'll space them 1 foot apart, and he said, you know, you always must leave the soil better than you found it. And he said, I call him not a man who knowingly steps on a worm, because it's the worms that actually create the fertility in the soil. So when I was about 13 years old, the farm was sold, and we left that beautiful paradise on Vancouver Island for Hollywood, California. And my dad changed careers at the age of 60 and became a songwriter. Well, he was always a songwriter, but he became fully a songwriter. Over the next few years, I had my struggles. I went through dark periods, struggled with lots of issues as a teenager, but I was a seeker, and I actually ended up in India back in 1967 and studied with a great spiritual teacher, Sant Kirpal Singh Ji Maharaj, and traveled with him, lived with him. He treated me like a father. Anyway, when I was about to leave India, I just mentioned that I was planning to open up a vegetarian restaurant when I got back to Vancouver, because I said there's no place for people like me to go and eat and meet other people, and we want to show how good this food can be and how wholesome and nutritious. He said, it's a good idea. So when I arrived back in Vancouver with $7 in my pocket, so I borrowed $1,500, and fortunately within a year I paid that back. But less than a year had passed, and I got this itch to go back to India. So I went back to India. Little did I know that I would meet my life partner, my beloved wife, Ratna, and we had an arranged marriage. She said, if I'm there, you're not going to say anything about our arranged marriage. And I said, okay. She didn't come this evening, so we had an arranged marriage and fell in love. And it's lasted over 41 years, and hopefully it'll go on until our last breath. So we have 4 wonderful children and 4 wonderful grandchildren as well. So career with a purpose. You know, I felt that business was not, for me, it was not to make money, but it was to provide a service to the community. And in those days, there was actually a physician in Vancouver who was writing a prescription for whole wheat bread. There was only white bread available. Everything was white. White flour, white rice, white bread, and our nutritional plate was pretty empty. So with the restaurant that I started became quite successful, and it evolved into Lifestream Natural Foods, which was on the corner of 4th and Burrard. And a partnership problem led to its sale back in 1981, and then we started Nature's Path out of the back of our restaurant. And anyway, I'll just tell you one of the stories from the trenches. We were going to have our grand opening for the plant down in Delta, and here we'd gone heavily into debt, and we had a lot of equipment there, and we couldn't get it to work. It was supposed to be a turnkey operation, but it just didn't work, and I had no experience in breakfast cereal production. Anyway, so on the opening day, we had VIPs, we had the minister, we had our bankers, you know, all these big shots were there, and I said, we got to do something. So I told our sales manager to run down to the supermarket, get some cornflakes from a brand I won't mention, and put it on the conveyor belts. So we kind of faked it through the opening. Our mission's triple bottom line is to be socially responsible, environmentally sustainable, and financially viable. We have 3 plants today. We employ over 400 people. We have farm partnerships and crop sharing on land that we own in Saskatchewan. And our future goals in the company are sustainability, zero waste to landfill, carbon neutrality, increase organic acreage, and our big, hairy, audacious goal is to reach 1 billion in our lifetime, but without sacrificing quality or values. Society, making healthy organic food accessible to everyone, supporting food banks. We have an EnviroKids fund. It's not just to make a profit, but if, as the good book says, if you're not a profit, you're a loss. I had some very good advice from a great teacher once. He said, never sacrifice quality for money or for any other consideration. Second, do not expand beyond your ability to personally control it. And third, do your best and leave the results in the hands of the higher power. So with those words, it leads to my finale. I would sing tonight, but I can't sing tonight. I'll end with a poem by one of my favorite poets, Persian mystic Rumi. He said, "Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground." Thank you.